Bitcoin continued its uptrend and broke the crucial 100k level, while Cronos on the other chart is right now getting ready for the next target. But what are these targets? Well guys, I would say let's strap in and let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only Coin Baron, and today we're gonna watch a lot of CRO charts, so make sure you are strapped in by liking this video and of course subscribing for more. But before we dive into the charts, I do want to give a big shout out to, for example, Ghostman over here on YouTube and also a lot of others on X as well. He was saying here, you are wrong about the 14-cent target for CRO, because honestly guys, my previous video talking about charts was, well, me being bearish about CRO in the short term. But well, guys, I was very wrong. That is also why I always begin these videos by saying, hey, no financial advice, just what I'm personally doing. And I think it's really good that you guys are also thinking for yourself, what are the charts doing? What are we seeing? What kind of patterns are emerging? Because of course, I'm also human and I do make mistakes. But honestly, right now, guys, it is looking very bullish for CRO. So I want to show you today what I'm looking at right now. And also I want to show you guys where I went wrong in my previous analysis. For our first chart today, we do need to address the elephant in the room. And today the spotlight goes to Bitcoin, of course, breaking the $100,000 level. And you might have seen the post by Peter Schiff back in 2019, really a gold bug, that said that Bitcoin was never ever going to break $100,000. But boy, he was wrong. And guys, we did really break through this level right now, trading at about $103,000 for just one Bitcoin. And I don't know when you guys joined the crypto scene, really. I personally joined back in 2017. But let me know in the comments down below, please. What was the lowest price you have seen Bitcoin? Or what was the lowest price you bought Bitcoin for personally? Because honestly, the first time I saw Bitcoin, it was, I think, at about $10,000. I did not buy. I went into Litecoin thinking it was the silver to Bitcoin's gold. But really, I probably should have just bought Bitcoin. But anyways, we still have a lot of opportunity, guys, with, of course, leverage trading or just buying spot Bitcoin. But really, it's a sight to be seen. $100,000 for one Bitcoin, guys. Crypto has become relevant and it will not go anywhere. But of course, I do also need to address that Bitcoin is not the only player in this market. Because if you go to the Bitcoin dominance, something is interesting. Something is very interesting. So you do see here, we have been dropping for Bitcoin dominance. And I do think this might be the start of a potential alt season. Other analysts, like for example, Benjamin Cowen, have been calling for a 60% Bitcoin dominance for a long time. And really, guys, once it hit 60%, it really started dropping very fast. And let me go back, let me zoom out to the previous cycle, because really, once we start dropping, we drop fast. We drop really fast. You can see in the previous cycle, guys, it took only about 26 weeks, so half a year, to go from the peak of Bitcoin dominance to the lows really for the alt season. If we take a peek on the altcoin season index by block center, we can also definitely see that right now, the relative strength of the altcoins are definitely bringing us to an altcoin season. But personally, guys, if you take a look at this tool, I prefer to go to the year. So we do have Bitcoin years and we do have often an altcoin year. And right now, we are not there yet. Definitely, there is still a lot of room to grow, because you can see right at 2021, 2022, it went a lot higher. We can again go to valuations like about 90. So we're not there yet, but we're getting there. As you can see, the build up can take some times. But okay, we're not there yet, but you can see that right now, tokens like, for example, HBAR, XRP are on a rip. And that's also because Bitcoin was not doing much for the longest time. On the Bitcoin dominance chart, you can clearly see that after a pump, when Bitcoin starts flatlining, so here guys, Bitcoin was range bound between 100k and 90k, that it creates the perfect breeding ground for altcoins to grow. So again, let me show you, here we are flatlining, and in the exact same period here, we do see Bitcoin dominance really going down. So altcoins gaining ground. But right now, you do see a pump for Bitcoin, and also Bitcoin dominance is going up again. But I do think, guys, that we will see more of those, well, flatlining moments. And let me show you some indicators. Since the recent pump of Bitcoin, right now it is getting into the overbought territory. So you can see, if you go to, for example, the relative strength index, we can see Bitcoin right now is overbought. The same is true for the stochastics, for the Williams index, the Bollinger Bands, the Kettner channel, and a lot of signs right now are on red really for Bitcoin. But that's not the case for the majority of altcoins out there. For example, Ethereum, not overbought. BNB, not overbought. CRO, not overbought. And that's exactly where I also went wrong with my short-term analysis. I completely forgot to also include that long-term right now, we're getting to a new season, the altcoin season. And guys, it's the most bullish time for altcoins. And you cannot be bearish during the most bullish time for altcoins, of course. And let me also show you that on the charts. For CRO, this is the setup, and let's reconstruct this chart together so we can all learn. So first, of course, in my previous videos, I did mention that this would become the new bottom for CRO, because right now we're watching inside the rainbow chart for CRO. And also check out this video if you want to learn more about the rainbow chart. But today, it's not about the rainbow chart, it's about the patterns, right? So first, we create here the setup, and I like to use this one. So we have the first part of the bull setup, and then we have the second part, and I will explain a bit more about that later. So here we do have the first two candles. Beautiful, beautiful. So then we continue by also going down again. We continue by going down again and retest exactly the lock line here that we have for CRO. So far, so good. It's hard to really trade those guys. But then, and I think that's the most interesting side, we created a new uptrend. A new uptrend that corresponded beautifully with the new setup here, right? And there I started to make some decisions. So here I thought we were seeing a break from this new trend line. So I was becoming bearish. And I thought we would go back and retest this trend line here, the lock line, because it also corresponded beautifully with here the new wick. That was my initial thought and also the tweet that I made a few days earlier. However, what I forgot to do is take a look at other indicators. For example here, guys, we do have the 21-day simple moving average. 21-day simple moving average. For short-term trading, short-term, mid-term at least, this is a very crucial indicator to make sure you include in your analysis. Because what you can see, and I'll zoom in a bit more, you can see test. Every time we remain above this trend line. And of course, sometimes it's a fake out. Sometimes you have to wait a few days. However, if after 3 days, guys, we're still above this trend line, you might have to start thinking, hey, aren't we creating a new setup? Is this initial setup wrong? And it was. It was definitely wrong. So what we can do, we have to reset our lines. We have to reset our lines to create the new setup, right? So here we can start to see the new setup, which is an ascending triangle. And an ascending triangle, guys, is not bearish, it is bullish. It is definitely a bullish continuation pattern. And we broke out of the pattern. We broke out of the pattern in a bullish way. So guys, let's say, of course, it's always about probabilities, right? So if we have an ascending triangle like this one, I would say it's a 20% chance we break down and an 80% chance we break to the upside. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. Anyways, lessons learned here, ladies and gentlemen, but in the future, I will focus more on the longer time frame TA because that's where I feel most comfortable. But if you would like to see more live analysis like we've just done, don't forget to hit the bell icon because when we go live, I will try to do more live trading as well. And if I don't know, we can also still use this A bar here to see if we're going up or down. Anyways, we're talking also about targets for CRO, but what are these targets then? To get an answer, we're going back to the drawing board of CRO. And for visibility's sake, I did remove the rainbow chart. So right now, we really see this pattern emerging. And I would say it kind of looks like a flag, right? Normally though, a flag is a bit more like this. We go up and then we go down like this. And that's really the flag. but we can say this is a bullish pennant. We can say this is a bullish pennant. So what we can then do, we can get the flagpole and make it quickly blue for visibility. We can copy this flagpole to set a new target. So we can copy it over, go to the breakout point that's over here, and then we can release it, and we can see a new target at about 35 cents. 35 cents for CRO is here the technical target. And I really, really love that target, not because we only see this indicator, but if you go back to the rainbow chart, where do we see the next log line? Exactly at about 35 cents. So again, another indicator that's saying, well, the next resistance point is at about 35 cents. And we have one more indicator that points toward 35 cents. So do you still remember the Fibonacci one? And we can use Fibonacci to determine new targets. And if we drag it out, we can see that our target of about 35 cents corresponds perfectly with about that 35 cent level. So 0.236 Fibonacci is about 35 cents. So guys, the more reasons we get on these indicators that point towards 35 cents, the more bullish I am about that actual outcome. So this is looking very good as well. I do have to say though that the perfect outcome will be that we are actually range bound after hitting this for a bit of time. So that we actually go down to about 29 cents after that before we go towards the next level for CRO. And more about that, guys, probably in a new video. But for now, all focus should be going to 35 cents first for CRO. And then we can talk about next targets like, for example, $1 or even higher. But honestly, with this altcoin season really looming, I think, guys, we're up to a really beautiful alt season for CRO as well. Anyways, guys, that was really this video. It's a bit longer, but I think it's good to talk about how I do analysis and how you can learn from us as well. But if you have any tips, definitely, guys, let me know. And again, do check out this video about the rainbow chart because it's filled with great tools and analysis as well.